Alright, Troy, the first thing you want to do here is I've got a piece of footage done on my composition here called screen.mov. I want to make sure that it's actually a 3D layer because what we're going to do is apply a 3D spotlight. So I'm going to go ahead and find this little icon right here and I'm going to click it to toggle it on. If you don't see this icon up here, you need to come down and find this switch here which will toggle between your modes and just toggle it and it'll show you the opposite view. So once you've got that turned into a 3D layer, then what you want to do is you want to come up to Layer, New, and choose New Camera, or excuse me, New Light. And we're going to call this this light right here Ambient. And in Light Type, we're going to make sure that we have Ambient chosen. And in Ambient Light, you can pick whatever color you want. If you want to give it that bluish tinge like they did in that video, pick a bluish. But what you're going to want to do is you come in and you do pick your color. We're gonna do an intensity. You can vary this later at any point, but I'd say like start out with like 26%. We'll go ahead and say OK here, and you can see what that's done is just create an ambient dimness, right? So the next thing we want to do is we want to come into and create another spotlight. I'm going to call this New Light, and this time we're going to call this one Spot. And we're going to call this one a spotlight, or we're going to choose a type of spotlight. And then we're going to crank up our intensity to maybe up to like, I don't know, 80, 90, something like that. And you can vary your cone angle in here, but you'll see that more later. And we'll just choose a color for fun here, something in the blue range. So I've got this color, I'm going to say OK. And you can see just like that I've created this spotlight, right? So the next thing is you say, oh gee, how do I manipulate this? What do I do? Let's toggle down, or twizzle down as they like to say in the After Effects world, into the spotlight and choose light options, twizzle that down. And here you can see we can play with these values. Intensity will change the intensity of the spotlight itself, right? So depending on how bright or dim you want that. The cone angle is actually going to change the size of the spotlight, right? And if you're not seeing things update in real time as you're dragging them, come over here and make sure this live update button is toggled on. So we can also make the diffusion of the spotlight itself, the ring. We can control that too. So we can come in here and what is that one called? It's like the cone feather, right? So if I take all the feather out, it's this really crisp spotlight. If I add the feather in, it's going to give me this more diffuse spotlight, right? So now you got a spotlight. Now you can animate this sucker just like you would anything else. We'll twizzle back up the light options. We're coming to our transform, and now we've got all these X, Y, Z rotation points, right? So I can go ahead and I can change the position of it. I can change the orientation. I'm just going to select all of these. So let's say I want to animate this sucker around. So I've created my initial keyframes. I'm going to go to the point where I want it the thing to move to. Let's just say it's 2 seconds in here. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to come up into the window. I'm going to hover over. You see these 3 different points? These are X, Y, Z position points, right? So if I grab the X, I'm obviously going to move this along this, and you can see it down here. It's creating new keyframes for you. If I come down here, the Y, I can move the Y. If I want to move the Z, I can come over and move the. I can get on the Z if I can grab it. It's a little bit hard. It's moving it back and forth. An easier way to view this, what's going on. Right now we're looking at the active camera. But an easier way is to come in and just choose like custom view 1, all right, and that's gonna, and then I'm gonna hold the space bar down, and we've got the hand tool here, and I'm just gonna reposition myself in 3D space so that I can see things better. But you can see now the Z really is controlling how close I am to the screen, right, and the Y, or the X is right here, and the Y is right here. So that's how you do it. It's pretty easy to do. Now, if you wanted to do what they were doing in that graphic, I'm running out of time in this ching. If you want to do in that, you wanted to sync up a custom graphic, like a mouse pointer that you wanted to throw in there and hover over the top of things, you can actually do that and tie it to these positions and have it automatically follow these positions around just by making it a child. But that's a separate tutorial. All right, hope that helps.